Hey guys, so before I start, just quick shout out to the Warriors for sweeping the Pelicans. That was pretty cool. But okay, so for the second installation of this week's assignment number 11, I had to pick another example, another video from the list of TED Talk videos that we had, and I also found the Johanna Blackley one very interesting. She starts off by giving a situational overview of Prada, who is shopping in Paris with one of her friends. She finds a jacket that she really loves. She analyzes the seams, looks at the design, and says she's going to buy it, but she's also going to copy it. Now, that leads us into a discussion of copyright laws in the fashion industry. Is it illegal for Prada to copy the work of another designer and, call it her own? Now, in the fashion industry, there are trademark protection laws, but there are no copyright protection laws and no other types of protection at all, period. So what this means is that you can essentially copy the design of any garment of anyone in the world, but you just can't copy the trademark of that design. So essentially, you can't copy, Prada's trademark. You can't put a Prada logo on your own piece of work. So what this allows for is the incentive to innovate, is that becomes in question. Without ownership, is there really an incentive to innovate? And Blackley would argue yes. Because there's no copyright protection in the fashion industry, there's this very open ecology of creativity. And this is because you're able to sample from your peers' designs in order to make new designs. And so you have a limitless supply of samples that you can reach from and compile together to come up with an industry that has a culture of copying, but in a very good way that incentivizes innovation. And the next question would probably be, how do the giants then stay in business? If I'm able to knock off one of Prada's designs in order to sell it as my own, then how is it that Prada is able to sell the same pair of shoes for $1,000 that I can get for $200 from Joe Schmo who's making the same shoe? And the reason is because the customers that Prada caters to and other luxury, high-end fashion designers cater to are not counterfeit customers. It's very simple. And so when you look at the virtues of copying, there are four main points that Blackley discusses, and that's the democratization of fashion, faster establishment of global trends, induced obsolescence, and acceleration in creative innovation. And essentially what these are saying is that fashion designers are constantly kept on their toes in order to figure out what's next and what to create next. That, in a way, it almost encourages the ultimate type of innovation, because if you're constantly pressured to come out with a new creative design that has to be so creative that it would be nearly impossible for others to copy in an industry where copying is totally legal, then you're basically saying that it's just a more challenging environment that spurs even greater innovation than before. And, she discusses how this might be revolutionary in the long run, because when you look at the sales of high intellectual property industries versus low intellectual property industries, high being like books, music, and low being things like food, automobiles, and fashion, the high intellectual property industries are getting destroyed in terms of gross sales. So this might be a model that other companies or other industries should copy in the long run, because in a way it could potentially spur future innovation. However, my biggest concern with that stat, and what I would argue, is that, you look at things like food and fashion, and those are, in fact, very utilitarian. And if you were to implement strict copyright laws within those industries, you would essentially be restricting access to almost a basic human need, in my opinion. Whereas things like music and books are a little bit more... how can I say that? They're less utilitarian, and thus the discretion of the artist and the creativity of the artist actually matters a little bit more in terms of, separating good music from bad music, good books from bad books. That's my 2 cents on that. I don't necessarily agree that having a more open ecology would be beneficial for all industries. But it is successful in the fashion industry. Very useful video, very helpful. Leave any comments, concerns, questions that you might have, and I'd be more than happy to respond. Thank you.